Good evening, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. It was day 2 of the farmers' protest. On the clarion call of Chalo Delhi, all the borders of the national capital were sealed. Once again, we saw water cannons being used, tear gas being used, also lathi charge at the Bahadurgarh border. In midst of all of this, finally, the government yielded. The Delhi police lifted the barricades in the eye of abject farmer anger. The farmers are now being allowed to come into the national capital. However, there is a split there because one half doesn't want to go to the designated area of protest which they have been given, which is all the way in Burari at the Nirankari grounds. The other half is already marching towards the Nirankari grounds. In midst of all of this, the Agriculture Minister today made another appeal. Listen in.
3 दिसंबर को बातचीत के लिए किसान यूनियंस को हम लोगों ने आमंत्रण भेजा है। मैं आपके माध्यम से सभी किसान यूनियन के नेताओं को विनम्र प्रार्थना करना चाहता हूं कि वो ऐसे सर्दी के मौसम में कोविड के संकट में आंदोलन का रास्ता छोड़ें और वो दिल्ली आएंगे तो हम लोग जरूर उनसे चर्चा करेंगे और मुझे चर्चा करते हुए खुशी होगी।
All right, so once again, what this protest has done is, now there is a debate wide open. Number one, the debate is open whether this is politically instigated, the farmers there. The BJP government of Haryana has repeatedly said that their farmers are being incited by the Congress party. Or has the centre let them down? Because the first go, where there was a meeting, the agriculture minister did not sit. It was the agriculture secretary who sat in on the meeting. The farmers staged a walkout. They were very angry. Now, the next meeting was to be scheduled on the 3rd of December. There was one in the middle with the agriculture minister, did not amount to anything. Now, before the meeting on the 3rd December, clearly the anger has poured out on the streets of the national capital. Now, in midst of all of this, the spotlight, viewers, is also on one question. Are the farm laws which have been passed anti-farmer or are they reformists in nature? That's the debate we're going to continue today. We're going to also break it down. I'm going to play that story in a very short while from now. But let me immediately cut across to our guest this evening. I have with me Avik Saha. He's the national convener of the Jai Kisan Andolan. He's going to join us very shortly from here on. I also have Sunil Alag. He's the chairman of the SKA Advisors. Mr. Alag, I'd like to begin with you, sir. There is right now a complete trust deficit that seems to have emerged between various farm unions, various farmers and the government. Who is to blame as per you?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, this is definitely a reform for the farmers. So who do I blame for this? Perhaps the communication to the farmers should have been done a lot more elaborately. People should have been met a lot earlier and people should have been explained what their problems were. Now, the question is that from what I have learned is that the farmers are saying they want to go back to the mandi system, they want to have the MSPs, and the government is saying, look, you can have that option. So everything is there. And if you want to go to a private person and you want to move out of the mandis, go ahead and do it, which is what almost all political parties over the last decade have asked for. So I really was yesterday and day before on a couple of your on TV channels, and I asked the gentleman, I said, what exactly is your problem? And they couldn't absolutely outline the problem because the government has said yes to everything that they've asked for.
Okay.
So I still don't know what is going on at the moment. And if they wanted to meet anybody, the government should have said, may I just say, it should have said, okay, 7 representatives from each state that the farmers are angry should come to Delhi and meet the agricultural minister and maybe even the prime minister if necessary. But this did not happen, and therefore all the farmers have turned up. And that I don't understand how it's going to resolve any problem at all.
Well, there were multiple meetings sought, Mr. Alag, there were multiple meetings sought. The last date which was given was the 3rd December, but we've already seen the breakout of protests before that. But there are multiple reasons which you say on why the farmers feel that the farm laws are not in their favor, they are not reformist. Correct. There are a lot of reasons. As I encapsulate them, I want to bring in Avik Saha, the national convener of Jai Kisan Andolan, into this conversation. Mr. Saha, there are a lot of viewers, there are a lot of citizens in this country who don't quite seem to understand that why these farm laws, which seem quite good on paper because they're only going to assist the farmers, are anti-farmers. Can you explain that to Mr. Alag, your co-panelist, and a lot of viewers out there?
The farmers want two things. The government to determine the prices of crops, and the government to be the arbiter of an ecology, of an environment where they get the prices for the crops. The farmers are unhappy because these laws do not provide either of these two essential asks, and these asks are much older than the laws. So if these laws are a response to what the farmers are asking for, then these laws fall short. And that is the main problem. Finally, it's a question between a free market and a market in which the government plays referee. A lot is being said about the government purchasing, MSP remaining. Those are, I don't think the MSP has to be junked or will be junked by the government. MSP is just a piece of paper. The government announces it twice a year. The question is, how does the farmer get MSP? The government's answer is the MSP will come from the free market. The farmer says, all right, even if it comes from the free market, you must be part of that market. You must make sure that the floor, the ceiling at which we transact does not fall below the MSP. And that is where meeting of minds is not happening.
You know, stay with me, gentlemen. For a lot of our viewers who have just joined us, I just want to, put context to this debate between the both of you. Just listen in to both sides of the story, because there clearly is a trust deficit. The government says this is in farmers' favor. It's reformist in nature. The farmers say that it's actually in the favor of big corporates. So both standing on very opposite sides of the farm law divide. Take a look at this. I'm back with our panelists. In midst of dramatic protests, unbridled farmer anger, unprecedented police crackdown, and political theatrics, a debate rages on. Are the farmers being politically instigated, or has the centre mishandled the situation? Once again, putting the spotlight on are the farm laws anti-farmer or reformist? If the government feels laws are in farmer interest, then has enough effort been made to allay fears? The Agriculture Minister Narendra Tomar and even the Haryana Chief Minister M.L. Khattar say they will meet farmers for talks.
चर्चा के माध्यम से ही रास्ते निकलते हैं। भारत सरकार चर्चा के लिए खुले मन से तैयार है। सभी किसान यूनियन के लोग आएं, हम लोग जरूर उनसे बात करेंगे और उनका स्वागत करेंगे।
But a huge trust deficit has been created. First by the Agriculture Minister not meeting farmers. Then, when he did meet them, the meeting was inconclusive. The next date of meeting was 3rd December. But before that, farmer anger spilled out on the streets in protest.
मैं तो समझता हूँ उनका लोक राज्य खाते हैं। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन हमारी कहती है कि फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच, फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्शन, लेकिन उनको रोकना इट्स अगेंस्ट हमारी जो डेमोक्रेटिक राइट्स हैं उसके खिलाफ है। कोई किसी ने कानून नहीं तोड़ा, किसी ने कोई दंगा फसाद नहीं हुआ, तो फिर रोकने का फायदा क्या हुआ?
While protests rage, the question is, are farm laws in favor of farmers? And if so, then why is the farmer protesting? While the government and the corporates see the farm laws as reformist, there's massive farmer opposition, especially from North Indian states. Why does the farmer feel the laws will compromise and not empower? The government feels that the farm laws will make it easier for farmers to sell their produce directly to private players and enter into contract with private companies. The government hopes the private sector investment will stimulate growth. The government says the monopoly of APMC or the local mandis will end, and that the minimum support price, the price at which the government buys farm produce, will not be scrapped. However, the farmers feel they are left at the mercy of big corporates. Farmers who have small land holdings will have no bargaining power with big private players. 87% of Indian farmers have land holdings less than 2 hectares, and they will lose out. How can a small farmer store his produce for months on end to be able to sell anywhere in the country? This is what the farmers say. Moreover, if the government says MSP will hold, then why not legalize MSP? Make it legally binding. Most farmers see this as benefiting big agri-business companies and not the Kisan. With the North Indian farmer and the government standing on either sides of these farm laws, the question is, can middle ground be reached? Or will the poor Kisan fall collateral to political upmanship? Bureau Report, India Today.
Right, let's go back to our debate. We have Mr. Alag with us. Mr. Alag, you just wanted to set the premise there for our viewers, but you did hear Mr. Saha. Do you agree that there are such stark differences on what possibly the farmers want and what the government is pushing right now?
Look, no. You're asking me, then I'm going to tell you one very simple thing. It's been poor communication on the part of the government. Whenever the private sector has gone in, whether it's a Pepsi or whether it's an IITC, they've always given higher prices. They've given lots of advance to the farmers. They've helped in the crop growth because there's artificial intelligence, there's technology, everything is available. The old system of forcing people to sell through the mandis resulted in the state governments having the power. The middleman was the one who, everybody's been cribbing about the middleman. Now you are wanting to go back to that old system. Was the MSP when it was announced? It was never, whether a lot of people complain, it was never given. Or the farmers are getting very low prices, the middleman is making it, he's storing the goods. By the time it reaches the urban centers, everybody has to pay a much higher price without the farmer getting it. Now the government has said, all right, I'm going to take all this into account. You can go to the mandis if you want. Here is the MSP. You can also go to the private sector. Let the farmer decide. How is it against the farmer? I still haven't understood when he has the choice. He has the option to go wherever he likes.
Mr. Alag, a lot of, Mr. Alag, we've been trying to get as much reactions from these farmers that are protesting. One big train of thought is 87%, sir, 87% of farmers in this country have land holdings which are less than 2 hectares. Now, a farmer with such small land holding, what kind of bargaining power will this farmer have with a corporate? When you talk about you can sell anywhere in this country, this farmer doesn't even have enough money to store his crop for a month. Where is he going to store his crop?
What does he have today?
Wouldn't he be marginalized?
I'm going to ask you a question. What does he have today? What does he have today and where are you moving towards? It's a question of what does he have today? He has nothing. So the government is moving towards an area where he will have something. Okay. Either you say he's got everything today and we are taking away, then I agree with you. What does he have today? Don't forget that what is the situation today? And where is the government trying to take you?
All right. Mr. Alag, I'm going to pose this question to somebody who heads a farm union, and he's Avik Saha. He's with us. Mr. Saha, would you want to respond to that?
Yes, certainly. The government, if you look at all the budgets from 2014 onwards, government has been saying that we will invest in agri-infrastructure, in cold chains, and this year, even during COVID times, that announcement of that cold chain train was made with great fanfare. The question is simple. Does the government have an obligation to invest, protect and secure the food production and food security of 135 crore Indians? Or does the government believe that it has no role to play and corporations can handle this efficiently and effectively? My answer to this has always been one thing. Why should a corporation have to have a conscience, a social conscience? A corporation exists for the benefit of its shareholders who must get profit from the investments they have made. So the investment capability of the government, which the government has been speaking about, and we've heard about the National Electronic Mandi, NAM, and all these things that have been spoken of for the last 6 years, suddenly everything was wrong. Everything that was spoken of is scrapped. And today, these 3 laws, let me finish, Mr. Alag. These 3 laws are the silver bullet, the panacea that we were all waiting for. Even that archaic Mandi, every day, evening reports, the prices at which transactions took place, and we understand how much has been sold at or below MSP. The problem with this new law is that everything will be obfuscated, all transactions. Is ITC obliged to tell you how much they bought it at or how much they're going to sell it at?
Yeah.
So
Go.
there will be great deal of obfuscation, no data will be available, and MSP, whether it's on paper or not, finally the farmer, like the Bihar farmer, and Mr. Alag is aware that Bihar is a state which has experimented with no APMC for 15 years now, and the prices in Bihar for the basic crop paddy is the worst in the country. So experiments have been made, results are available, yet these 3 new laws have been brought in without any simulated study, without any model study, and Mr. Modi is announcing to the world, and Mr. Alag is ready to believe, that this will be the solution without an iota of evidence being available. So we are discussing on future without any evidence.
Okay, before I go back
Mr.
to Mr.
Saha.
Alag, Mr. Alag, just give me, I just want to ask one quick question from Mr. Saha. Mr. Saha, there is a lot unclear on the MSP. Both of you have also had differences on that on this show. But if, say, the government decides to legalize MSP, because this is a demand on ground by the farmers, will the farmers be happy with that if MSP is legalized?
There are 2 points. MSP has to be legalized and an environment has to be created. It could be the great private mandi that Mr. Alag is talking about, no problem. There must be a place where you can get MSP. We don't want MSP just on paper. And that can be the APMC, the private market. We are not batting for the APMC. We don't care. But we must get that price. It mustn't just be an announcement. And that is what the government is not assuring. And that's where the problem is.
Okay, Mr. Alag, you wanted to come in, please. You wanted to respond.
No, I just want to ask Mr. Saha one thing. You're quite right in whatever you said, Mr. Saha. In other words, before the law came in, would you have had a farmer agitation? Yes or no? Because you've raised a number of issues on agriculture. And I think the farmers should have agitated well before this law came in. That it's about time you did X, Y, or Z. Why were they quiet till now? Why were they quiet and not having any agitation till the laws came in? And the government is willing to give in. So the mistake I'm saying the government has made, they should have met the farmers, they should have talked to them, and they should have met them. But you should have agitated well before the laws came in then. You're raising issues about agriculture, which I know, and I come from Bengal, I'm a Punjabi, and I've been to Bihar, I've been everywhere. These problems have always existed. Why was there no agitation before this? Suddenly now, when the laws come in, everybody is agitating about what the overall policy of the government should be.
Okay,
that part is a separate issue.
Okay,
Today we are asking, what are they agitating for?
Mr. Saha, would you want to respond? Why no agitation earlier? Because the lot of the farmers was none the better?
Yeah.
Very quickly, this is factually incorrect. AIKSCC, of which I am the secretary, was formed in June 2017. In October 2017, more than 5 lakh farmers were in Sansad Marg in Delhi, agitating just for these 2 issues. Give us a guaranteed MSP and a guaranteed place where we can get the MSP. 2018, repeat of that. Again, 5 lakh farmers. See, we're asking for something, and 2018 is a crucial year. Mr. Alag, for your information, AIKCC shifted away from the Zindabad, Murdabad politics of farmers, created 2 laws, went across the country, consulted more than 500 experts, came back to Delhi, spoke to all agricultural experts in Constitution Club and presented 2 laws on guaranteeing MSP and freedom from indebtedness in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
Okay.
Mr. Alag, we have actually been agitating. We have been giving solutions to the government. And the government has not looked. We've gone to the president with those laws and said, please send it to the prime minister. Ask them to consider the law. So price has been an issue. Procurement has been an issue. And the solution to that is provided by these laws at a time when we were not allowed to go out of our houses, Mr. Alag. So the agitation is now boiling over because we were in COVID and lockdown.
Okay, all right. So basically, yes,
the laws
were passed in a pandemic, and the farmers were not allowed to protest in a pandemic. That's separate. That debate aside, Mr. Alag, before I close this bulletin, I want to ask both of you one question: is it that these farm laws are reformist, but maybe too ahead of its time, and right now the onus to bring in reform has been put on the lowest common denominator is the farmer with the least amount of land holding, which is 86% of your country, who's in agriculture?
You know, actually, I was in favor of what Mr. Saha is saying. The Land Holding Act should have gone because there has to be some on production. You
Right.
should allow larger holdings. You should allow everything that you've said. Right now, I thought the debate was on is the law reformist, and I'm not speaking for the BJP or the Congress or anyone. Even Captain Amrinder Singh of Congress, whom I like, he just said the right to protest is always there. You can go ahead and
Okay.
protest, but he's not come out and said anything. Look, the law is reformist. Maybe it's not complete. And you should have brought 7
Okay.
farmers from each place and met the Prime Minister.
All right.
This way of behaving
Okay, I would have
is
liked
not
to,
right.
okay,
That's
Mr.
all
Ralak,
I'm
I'm
saying.
running short of time. I would have liked to go back to Mr. Saha, but we've just lost his link. But appreciate you, gentlemen, for joining us. It was constructive. We got both points of views. The fact is that the farmer agitation is not ending. Now, as we sit today in Delhi, thousands of farmers, some say close to about 1.5 lakhs, are filtering in from each sides of the border into Delhi. They are going to converge here. But what now? Are we going to open dialogue? Are we going to talk to them? Well, the agriculture minister says yes. Let's see what happens in days to come. A quick break. Up next is Shivaru. To stay with us.